Sorry, boy, but his captain's got to teach his men what happens to those what crossing.
Captain's got to teach stuff.
Hey world, this is not my usual content. I'm writing this video to basically help the universe escape from AT&T and get your number ported if you're with AT&T Prepaid. If you are one of my normal subs, just skip this video. It's not for you. If you're interested in this video and just learning how to solve the problem, I'm going to pin the point where I start explaining this. But I'm going to start out by explaining my problem just so you guys can understand what I went through to get my number ported away from them, and then you guys can solve the problem yourself. So anyways, I got a new phone yesterday. My internet company gave me a great deal with Verizon to get a new phone and stay with them and get a higher internet package. And I have been having nothing but misery with AT&T for the past 2.5 years. I moved to the Phoenix area, and even though I get 4 to 5 bars of coverage everywhere in the city, I frequently get no internet despite having that coverage. I get calls dropped constantly or not heard from inside my house or often outside my house, walking around my block. I have to be connected to the internet to get any call clarity. And I've been to the AT&T store multiple times. They try to give me a new SIM. They're not interested in solving your problem. They just don't care about you as a customer. And if you're on with customer service with them, you know that they have a thing that keeps trying to get you to say your problem through multiple prompts before they'll get you to a person. It's like one of the hardest companies to get through to an actual person on customer service. And then they try to keep making you say the thing. They won't give you an option to press a button until they make you say it a few times. And then they're like, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. And then they finally make you press a button to do it. And you're almost screaming at them by the time you get to a person every time, because this automated system is just like the image of the beast. And it's just trying to make you miserable and go away so that they don't have to pay customer service dollars. Well, that's what AT&T does routinely because they hate their customers. But what they do even worse because they hate their customers is if you're with AT&T Prepaid, they try to make you leave without your number. This is their final way to get you to stay, is by making it almost impossible for you to port your number out of the company. So even if you ported that number into the company, they try to make it impossible to port it out. So I'm going to walk you through the process of porting it out, because they are not going to help you. I mean, I've been in AT&T stores. I had one guy almost call the police on me because he's literally like, just call 611. And I'm like, I've been doing that. I've done it. He didn't want to know. He didn't care. He's like, get out of the store. I've asked you to leave. You're being passive aggressive. You're yelling at me. And I'm just like, I'm not yelling at you. You just keep telling me the same thing. And I'm keep trying to tell you that's not working. And you just cut me off. And you're just like, I've already given you that. You're being passive aggressive. Okay, these are people who are, I mean, it reminded you of trying to be like in during COVID without a mask. Like, this is how difficult they're being. And I mean, these are just evil people. When people act this way, it's because they know AT&T is corrupt. They're being evil. They're just trying to make it difficult for you to leave the company. And they're salespeople. And, you know, when you have a company that acts like this, from customer service all the way down to their sales offices, you know you're dealing with a company that is evil. And the company, they're not going to change unless they lose a ton of business. And I hope they lose everyone on prepaid, because honestly, you can get prepaid with Verizon, you can get prepaid with a bunch of other companies, and AT&T just sucks. There are some places in the country where they're the only place that has coverage. They have the broadest network. They do not have the best network. But AT&T Prepaid, they suck. They have cheap plans, but they don't offer you any service. They don't offer customer service. They're not really going to send anyone out on technical support to try to resolve your issue. They just suck. So anyways, I started out with 2 phones. One was a business line, one was a personal line. I was using it in a location that only got AT&T, and I could get, you know, the same coverage for 4 times as much money in a business account, or just get the prepaid. So I just got the prepaid. And what I learned about this is they will not let you access your account if you don't have your number with them. If you lose your password, if you don't have your number with them, if you don't have your phone still with them, they're not good. They're only going to send you a text to your phone. If you try to call customer service on any other line but your AT&T phone, they're not going to answer you. So the same thing when you go to the stores. They're going to try to make you get an AT&T account just to use customer service, even if you've got another AT&T account. They don't care about you, okay? They're trying to make it as difficult as possible for you to get to customer service. They're trying to make you pay for their customer service because they don't care about you, okay? So if you have a multi-line with them, the first thing you want to know is you have to get rid of all the lines. You have to get all the lines ported out except for the one that is the account holder line, and then you have to do the account holder line. But as a starting point, you need to get on here and you need to go to account info and preferences on your AT&T plan, and you need to click get account number. Okay, if you get account number, they're going to text you your account number. You want to save that number because you need that as part of your port out plan. But you go to profile and settings, account info and preferences, and then click get account number. So that's your first thing, is you get your account number. You have to have your phone number, and then you have to have what's called a transfer pin. Now, here's where they start being a-holes. They will not give you a transfer pin. Here's the secret they won't tell you. You don't need a transfer pin. 0000 was all I needed. So I went through literal hell for like 8 hours with people to do this. I call AT&T. They have the automated service bring me to the point where you want to port your number out, and this is what they're going to do. When you get to the point where you followed all their prompts and you're banging your head against the wall, getting through all this stuff to get to the point where you want to port your number out, they say, you can do this online. I'll send you a text, and hang up on you. They did this to me twice. They don't send the text. When you get to the point where you're doing it online, or you do the port number, so you put star and port, and I think it's like 7678, and it's that star port, and it takes you that, and you follow the prompts, they're going to tell you your phone is not eligible for texts, even though it's your phone and you're getting texts from them. And then they're going to hang up on you. If you go to an actual customer service agent, there's a high likelihood when you tell them you want to port your number out, they're just going to hang up on you. This is what they were doing to me, left and right. When you go to a store, there's a large number of people in the store that are going to be like, get out of here. Call 611. They will not try to help you. This guy, I wanted to kill this guy because he was just literally being like one of these punk little kids where he's like, you're not wearing a mask. That's how he was acting towards me. And he's just like, I told you, dial 611. And I kept telling him, I did it. And I went through all the prompts. He wouldn't listen. And he just kept cutting me off and saying, you need to dial. I've already given you that. You need to leave. You need to leave. You need to. And he kept doing this. Even though I'm still literally an existing AT&T customer with an AT&T line. He's still just telling me, go away, go away, go away, go away. And he's almost threatening to call the police. And I'm just sitting here going, I'm an AT&T customer trying to get service, and I can't get through to anyone on the line. And I literally have a text here that says, go to your AT&T store, and you're telling me go away. And he's just like, you're being passive aggressive. You're yelling at me. And he's just acting like a bitch, basically, running for his safe space, basically. So anyways, this went on until I went to another AT&T store where there were like a whole bunch of customers present and these salespeople present, and explained the exact same problem in front of a bunch of people. Then they were nice to me. Then what they did is they told me there is no port out number. There is no transfer pin for AT&T Prepaid. They said they don't give you a transfer pin, so it's like some generic number, like the last 4 digits of your account number or something. That's what they said. Well, while that woman was trying to find it, she was actually pretty nice. This was actually a genuinely pretty nice salesperson. She was trying to find it. The other sales guy, who was more senior, was just like, the company that's getting your business should be helping you with this. We're just salespeople. This is not our job. And I said, I tried to get on with the company that is getting my business to help. And they literally got me on and used their company-to-company private access to get to AT&T, and AT&T told us to sit and wait for 2 hours on hold to get to a customer service agent. When I call by myself, it says 15 minutes, but when I call with the other service provider, it said 2 hours on hold. And so we're not going to sit here for 2 hours trying to get a person to get us a transfer pin when it's supposed to be an automated process, okay? So anyways, while the other woman was looking it up, I actually got a woman in customer service in AT&T on phone. And this woman, if I will ever find her, I will marry her. She was such a sweetheart. She told me the truth. She said, this is some woman in Latin America. I could tell she had kind of like an Hispanic accent. She said, there is no port out number. She said, all you have to use is 0000. She said, there's no port out number, so any number will work. And she said, all you do is you use any number. So she said, 0000 will work. When you send out that number that says whatever number you pick, but she said 0000, there is no port out number, you're going to get a text from AT&T that says, we got a request to port out your number. Is this from you, to validate it? And then they're going to send you a number to validate that it's you asking to port out. Now, it might take some time for that number that number to come, but the point is that when that number comes and you say yes, then you go back to your carrier and have them put in that whatever generic number again, 0000, and it will work. They're not going to tell you this in the store. They either don't know because AT&T is not telling them, or they're not, or they're just not telling you because it's their policy to make it difficult for you to port your number out. The guy who was being a tool to me literally said in 7 years of being their manager there, he has never once seen somebody port out their number successfully from AT&T Prepaid. Once I told him I had AT&T Prepaid, he's like, you're not going to get your number ported out. Okay? 20 minutes later, by the grace of God, I had my number ported out. Okay? So if it's that difficult, I'm telling you guys, this is what you need to do. You go here, you get your account number, you have your phone number. Remember, if you have a multi-line account, you get all the lines but the number that the account is associated with. Otherwise, if you want to try to change your plan, it will say, please contact the account owner to change your plan. Now, the account owner on my plan is the phone that I already ported out. So because I've already ported out that number, I can give them more money. But what I can't do is change my plan. So you can have auto pay set up and keep paying them, and they will try to make you keep paying even if you're not using the phone anymore. But because I'm not the account owner, they're not going to let me change my plan. And because that phone has been ported out, I can't ever get back unless I port the number back in. I'm not going to do that. Okay? So you need to get all of your lines out of the account, and you need to start by going to Profile and Settings, Account Info and Preferences, get your account number, click this button and they'll text it to you. Then you call your other service provider or you go through their automated process online. And when they ask you for your transfer PIN, just give them 0000. And then they're going to send you a text and you have to wait for it. And that text is going to say something like, here, I'm going to read it for you. So just so you know, I started doing this process at around 11 a.m. It was not until 1:16 p.m., so it can be like 2 hours later, that you get the text that says, we received a request to transfer 616-589, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to give the whole world my phone number, but we received a text to transfer this number to a new service provider. Was this you? If so, reply with 9172. If not, press stop. So you have to respond text, and then you have to go back to them with the same number and do it again. Again, 0000 works. But what you have to know is that when you go try to do it online or with that agent, it's going to take you like 2 hours to get this number. They're going to tell you you need a transfer PIN. AT&T Prepaid does not provide you with a transfer PIN. AT&T Prepaid, most of these agents are not going to tell you that. They're just going to hang up on you when you port out. Once you're leaving AT&T Prepaid, that's the absolute bottom of the barrel. They have no incentive to help you because there's nothing in it for them, and they hate you. That's just their policy. If you're leaving us, we hate you. That's it. They hate you when you're their customer, but once you tell them you're leaving, they give you the finger, and they refuse to lift a finger to help you. Okay, so again, you can go through all the processes where I want to, where you're almost getting arrested trying to figure out how to get your number ported, or you can just follow these simple steps. Remember, start with every last number but the account number. Get your account number, then you put in your transfer request. When it asks for a PIN, just give 0000 and then wait for it. Could be a couple hours until you get one of these texts that say, we're sorry to see you go and all that. Are you trying to port your number out? And you confirm with the number, yes, that's me. And then you go and do it again. And within about 5 minutes to 15 minutes, you should have your number ported out. So I hope this is helpful for everybody. Again, if you are here and this is just for the AT&T thing, what I do is Bible teaching and Illuminati confirmed eschatology stuff. So, I don't like people doing bad things and hurting people, especially when it's poor people. And usually if you have AT&T Prepaid, you're probably not rich. So their goal is to take the weakest in society and basically take all their money, which is something that is just evil to me, and I don't like evil. So I hope you guys are blessed by this, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Batman out. Peace.